Good morning to everybody. I am Kalidas, all of 85 years. I have learned Mridangam under Payani Sri Subramaniam Pillai, the Mridangam legend, more than 60 years ago, 62 years ago in fact. And I didn't take Mridangam as my profession, but I have continued to remember whatever I was taught plus whatever I have heard of him. And I have taught a number of students. And one of my students is my own grandson, Rohit Ashok, who is now with me. And Mr. Kumar, who is also here and who is doing the capturing of the video, is also here. He requested me for a short lecture demonstration. I wouldn't call it a lecture demonstration, but an introduction to Mridangam and various aspects of playing of Mridangam. So I don't think I will be playing much, but my grandson will be playing because I have more or less retired from the field. This I am doing for Kala Prashala's off-stage production. So we will start with Mridangam. Mridangam is probably the most important accompanying instrument for Carnatic music concerts. Probably in an ensemble of a vocalist, a violinist and a mridangist. Probably next to the vocalist, Mridangam is the most important instrument because violin generally reproduces whatever the vocalist sings. And Mridangam adds a different dimension in terms of percussion because vocal music is essentially melodic music. So melody plus percussion makes the music complete. Now this Mridangam has been in existence, as we learned from our Sangam literature, for more than 2000 years, as this is referred as Tannumai, Mannar Tannumai. Man is mud. So the body of the Mridangam in the earlier days used to be made of mud. So Mritangam, Mrit itself in Sanskrit means mud only, earthenware. So it used to be a terracotta kind of thing, burnt clay body and leather parchments on either side. And Mridangam, even in the olden days, used to be tuned. There are references to that. And Mridangam is found either in the present structure or probably in the older structure before the present day of Mridangam has come into the field, about which I will say a few words later. In many temple sculptures in various parts of Tamil Nadu, Andhra, Kerala and Karnataka. Edakai is one instrument which closely resembles Mridangam, and even today Edakai is very prominent in Kerala, and it seems that Edakai in Tamil Nadu was also quite popular. There are various parais. Parai itself means an instrument which is played either by hand or by a stick, and Mridangam is one of the parais. Although this is a very classical instrument, most of the parais are folk instruments. Now coming to Mridangam, I said this has existed for many years, but the Mridangam as we know today and as it is played now has come from Maratha traditions. When Shivaji's successors established their empire in Ratnagiri and expanded to the south, lot of Maharashtrians with their entire entourage, their Bhagavatas, their Mridangam players, their dancers, there used to be a dance form called Lavani and Tamasha. Tamasha is the folk element of Lavani. So, lot of Bhagavatas, Kathakars are Harikatha exponents. They shifted over to Tamil Nadu. And as we all know, Tamil Nadu especially in Tanjavur, which was ruled by the Nayak kings, the Maharashtra emperors conquered the Nayak kings and established a Maratha empire. Shivaji's brother it was, I think, who established that Maratha empire. Lot of Marathis you can find even today of Marathi descent in the Kaveri Delta region, including Tanjavur and even south of Tanjavur. Just like Saurashtra settled in Madurai region, the Marathas settled in Kaveri region. Now, when the mass migration of Marathas to south took place, they also came with their Pakavadyam artists, and the Pakavadyam in vogue was the Mridangam, from which our Mridangam has come to be today. Now, how much this has deviated, the new pattern has deviated from the old pattern, we do not know. But the first generation of Mridangam players from Maharashtra trained local artists also, local Tamil artists in Tanjavur region. And we have a number of Marathi Mridangam players who used to play for Harikatha mainly, because Harikatha is a tradition which we have got from, and the Bhajanosava Paddhati also we have got from Maharashtra only. Now, Mridangam was especially played in the early days, that is 18th century, for Harikathas and Sadirs, which was the forerunner of Bharatanatyam. Bharatanatyam is a highly sophisticated type of dance which came to be established slowly, and then many people infused a lot of beauty in the movements, lot of beauty in the makeup of artists, and many new ideas came, better stages were prepared. So before that, the dance in Tamil Nadu used to be called Sadir. So for Sadir also, the Marathi Mridangam players had played, which was also reproduced by our own Vidwans in Tamil Nadu. Like Tanjavur Vaidyanatha, I am told by his disciple Upendran, that he played for his mother's dance, who was, that lady was a well-known dancer of Tanjavur, and Upendran said, Tanjavur Vaidyanatha ஐயர் வந்து எங்க அம்மாவுக்கு மிருதங்கம் வாசித்தார். So in those days, the orchestra also used to accompany the dancer. They sitting in one place, the whole orchestra sitting in one place came much later. Before that, they used to go wherever the dancer went, they used to go. One, it is for better ambience and better acoustic sense. And number two, the dancer has to always hear the talam in the mridangam for her better performance. Now all that has changed with our electronic mic systems and our PA systems having come into play. But anyway, gradually in the earlier parts of 19th century up to the third quarter of 19th century, music used to be performed, music and dance used to be performed only in the princely sadas, that is the sadas of princes of Tanjavur, princes of Pudukottai, Ramanathapuram, and zamindars of various places. Mysore I have left out. Mysore, according to British who were ruling us till 1947, all these people called themselves Maharajas, but the British called them only as princes or zamindars. So the lay public did not get any idea of the music being performed, except if it is performed in Ramanavami Utsavam or some Utsavam cities, Janmashtami or Ramnavami or Mahashivaratri or Radha Kalyanam. Those events were open for public. Otherwise, public had no access to music at all, the lay public. The first sabhas came into existence only in the beginning of 20th century. And one of the earliest sabhas was our Parthasadi Swami Sabha in Triplicate, and another sabha in Kakinada, Saraswati Gana Sabha of Kakinada in Andhra Pradesh. They were the earliest. And then followed a number of sabhas which opened, but some of them closed down also. Anyway, it's only with the sabhas that the public participated and paid for the concerts also. I remember going for a number of concerts of GNB, Madurai Mani and many other Vidwans, paying 1 rupee when I was studying in engineering college in the 1950s, 56 to 60. So 1 rupee was the entrance fee, and from the gate collection, the artists used to be paid. Otherwise, it was the princess who took care of the artists and paid them either monthly, on a monthly basis or on a performance basis. Now coming to Mridangam. Now Mridangam has been accepted as the classical instrument for vocal music and also solos of instruments like violin, flute, chitravena and many other instruments, classical instruments, as a principal percussion instrument. Now one more thing which I want to say is, there are two main traditions. One tradition is the Tanjavur traditions, which was directly established by the Marathas, and there is another one called the Pudukkottai tradition, which derived its inspiration from Tamil Vidwans, but which adapted to Mridangam, adopting some of the points in some of the components of Tanjavur system and adapting them to the Tamil tradition. Now, Tanjavur tradition, we have had people like, we have had Tanjavur Narayan Swami Appa. He is the first name we come along to. And Pudukkottai tradition did not come from Mridangam, but it came from Tamil. And the first person we go to, or the Paramacharya of the Pudukkottai tradition, was one Manpundiya Pillai, or Mamundiya Pillai Kalokini. His disciple was the famous Dakshinamurti Pillai, Pudukkottai Dakshinamurti Pillai. Then Palani Muttaya Pillai, father of Palani Subramania Pillai. Then Ramanathapuram Chitsabai Servai. His son was the famous C.S. Murupurti. So they belong to the Pudukkottai tradition. Over times, all these Mridangam styles have got, the Mridangam patterns have got mixed up, and the two schools have borrowed from each other. So today to see a pure Tanjavur style or a pure Pudukkottai style is difficult. And also we should remember that within the same school, the disciples of the same master will adopt different styles. Like the way Umayyadupuram Shivaraman and Palghat Raghu played, their styles were quite distinct, although both of them were disciples of Palghat Maniyar. Similarly, the style of Trichy Shankaran, who was the prime disciple of Palani Subramania Pillai, and M.N. Kandaswamy Pillai were quite different. Probably my style also is very different. So this, within the same guru's lineage, different people adopt different styles. So over a period of time, many of these new styles evolve, and some of the old styles, or some of what the old masters played, go into oblivion. This happens in all fields, even in technical fields it happens.